It's a very good evening and welcome to Network. My name is Phumelele Zondi. We tell you about the Rage Gaming Expo in this program. There's also information about Mobile 360 that took place in Cape Town in the last week. Our discussion is about a University of Johannesburg initiative to teach kids how to build robots. Find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's News Network at sabc.co.za and email. Let's start with your social media and technology news. It was all fun and games at this year's Rage Gaming Expo, with producer Lebo Sitjake taking a turn with some of the gadgets showcased there.
We love Rage!
Indeed, they do. And so do other mega fans that went the extra mile to prove their love for video games by camping inside the dome at the Gaming Expo for the entire weekend. Organizers of Rage were impressed by this year's turnout of the event.
Every year we keep seeing growth on the show, and it looks like this year is one of our busiest we've ever had before, so I'm very excited about that.
Excitement was also expressed by some female gamers who felt that the representation of women in the gaming industry is growing.
What's nice is we can see it here today at Rage. So there's Assassin's Creed Syndicate, which is the latest Assassin's Creed game, and it's always been male protagonists. It's always been that you're a male assassin running around killing people. And this year, you play as one of twins. So you can either be the boy or the girl, so you can actually run around as a woman, killing everybody. It's really cool. So that's quite representative.
These staunch gamers were absorbed by the new games showcased at this year's Rage. Some were even dressed as their favorite gaming and anime characters. Seems like South Africa's gaming culture is on the rise.
The culture of video games is definitely growing, and it's showing itself in many different forms. Here at Rage, there are LANs, which is a local area network where people get together and play video games together, and they're inviting their friends, and that grows the culture. There's also cosplayers, where fans of different video games and comic books and anime are celebrating it by dressing up as their favorite comic book characters.
Attendees were entertained by various cool gadgets such as drones and 3D printers. Even I got a chance to go on a roller coaster ride using these virtual reality Oculus glasses.
The new cool stuff that seems to be hot this year is the 3D printing, the virtual reality, the Oculus Rift, and of course there's obviously the drones, and we've got self-mobility units where you stand on it so you can lean forward, that type of stuff.
The Rage Gaming Expo is in its 13th year this year, and it opened its doors on the 9th and ended on the 11th of October.
Mobile 360 Africa took place in Cape Town in the last week. Different players from the continent's telecommunications industry were discussing issues around how to monetize on the use of mobile phones. There were also discussions on content generation, as most Africans own mobile phones. We caught up with Brandon Peterson from Telkom Future Now. He was at the conference.
What sets Mobile 360 apart is the fact that it's brought by the GSMA, being the governing body for mobile technology across the world. They've got the standard, they've got the clout to be able to bring in the people who are actually the decision makers and the people who actually help shape mobile technology across the world. Google has brought in one of the venture heads of venture to talk about how do we go ahead and monetize, and how do we go ahead and make feature phones and smartphones available to the masses, as opposed to the small percentage of people in Africa having access to smartphones and apps and that sort of technology. If you look at the sort of content that you get on the internet as a whole, the majority of it is in English. And in all honesty, most of the world doesn't actually speak English. It's not the predominant language on the planet. And the problem that people have is when I go onto the internet and I do not speak English as a first language, I cannot necessarily find content in my language or content that's relevant to me. So what do? And that's one of the issues that they're actually trying to address through the GSMA and through the Mozilla Foundation.
Last year, the Global Youth Wellbeing Index indicated that Nigeria is the worst country for young people to prosper despite the country's wealth in oil. The index said this is because Nigeria failed on education and safety. Now, a young Nigerian is using technology to help. He started an online platform that links people that need help to the right tutors. When Godwin Benson was not paid by his client for giving tuition services in 2005, he never knew that what he viewed as an unfortunate experience would one day give birth to a novel business idea. Today, Benson runs a Tutoria, an online platform that links tutors with students and allows them to provide private lessons for clients. His work saw him emerge among this year's top 5 winners in the Microsoft Passion to Empire campaign, a local competition which rewards innovative entrepreneurs in Nigeria for their work.
I thought that how could I make it possible for people to find people that they want to learn various things from. And initially I was thinking in lines of academics, but then after speaking with people wanted to learn photography, dance, bead making, and so I decided to extend the idea and see how I could make them easily connect and also process payments for lessons and classes.
About 3,000 tutors signed up on Tutoria in the first 3 months it was launched earlier this year. Another 4,000 are on the waiting list. Orlando Waju Aderinto, an undergraduate engineering student, has just arrived at his client's house.
The platform is very, very good. That can give you an extra income while you are in school. All you have to do is to plan your time very well, plan your timetable very well in class, so you won't clash with your classworks. You just enjoy it.
Aderinto is tutoring Helen of Young.
He was able to give me somebody without wasting of time. I didn't have time, because I wouldn't have had time enough to go and look for somebody somewhere. But before I know it, the person even had to come to my house.
Benson makes his money by retaining 30% of total payment a teacher makes. He says his focus now is to expand his client base and grow his business further.
The joy of being able to bring something from an idea to a reality that people actually use. We are all inspired, I and my team, by the opportunities we are creating for thousands of tutors and clients, in fact, millions actually. So the mere fact that a few of us can impact so many people because of the idea we have is quite satisfying.
Experts say that rising incomes among the continent's vast population have created a pool of customers willing to pay for better schooling for their children, which in turn is driving an explosion in education businesses in Africa today. Facebook finally launches the pilot of an alternative to the like button, and a video of a father and daughter painting each other's nail goes viral. These are some of the trending tech stories of the last week. Take a look.
Audio Jungle.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the SABC News Tech Wrap. We're coming to you from the Rage Gaming Expo here at the Dome. Finally, Facebook revealed the alternative to their like button. Only this one does not include the dislike button.
I do think that it is important to give people more options than just like, as a quick way to emote and share what they're feeling on a post.
Facebook users will now have 6 new buttons that appear as animated emoticons that pop up when the like button is long pressed. The pilot was launched on Thursday, and the company said it would start in Ireland and Spain on iOS, Android operating systems, and on desktops. A Jordanian comedy group's parody of the English song Uptown Funk became a YouTube hit this past week. The group made a parody of Bruno Mars's Uptown Funk song to address unemployment in the country.
So we decided to parody this song specifically, and the issue we addressed in the song Unemployment, we did it because we're a comedy show with a message. There's a lot of comedy in our work, but we like to include messages, and it came together, the lyrics and everything.
Speaking of YouTube hits, this video of a father and daughter painting each other's nails became a YouTube sensation ever since its upload on 21st September. It gained over 6 million hits.
She's been painting my nails since she was 2. I get interesting questions about the nails. I've had people ask, like, are you in a rock band? And when I walk around with them, I look at my nails that she's painted, I think about her, and that's really nice. So it's like a way of taking her around with me. Well, that's got sparkles in it. Nice. when little kids ask me questions, especially the boys, they ask, "You're wearing nail polish?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they say, "That's for girls." And I'm like, "No, it's not. Why?" Like, I'm not a girl. I'm wearing it. What's the answer? What do you tell them?
There's no boy color or girl color.
The video features Nathan Bodie and his little girl Sadie painting each other's nails in a variety of bright colors and sparkling shades.
Now this is it from me today, but Madiba will be back with us next week for another edition of the most interesting tech stories. I am Lebukhan Sujake, and from me, ciao.
Audio Jungle.
It's SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. After the break, we'll talk about the University of Johannesburg's AfroBot. Stay with us.
Catch! Boy! Sit!
Get behind Rugby World Cup 2015 on SABC.
News Network at sabc.co.za on email. Thank you for staying with us. Now, many e-learning programs have been implemented in the country this year. Some worked and some failed. There seems to be a lot of work yet to be done, especially in training those who will be using these programs. The next insert talks about some training tools that can be used to upskill teachers and learners.
From the launching of Smart Class to digital learning expos, seems this year has been a big year for electronic learning. Though a good initiative, what good does the implementation of these technologies bring without proper training?
Look, there are a lot of challenges when it comes to implementing technology into a classroom, bringing it to the African continent, and so on. But there really is the show and the offering that we have here is to try and break down the resistance to technology.
Companies such as Via Africa have rolled out training programs to try and curb some of these challenges.
Is the Via Africa Digital Training Academy. Now this is aimed specifically at teachers who want to upskill themselves in the digital arena. So it ranges from teachers who've never ever encountered a tablet to teachers who want to implement an ICT management policy in their schools.
Unlike some of their teachers, learners are finding the e-learning systems easy and convenient.
First of all, we carry a lot of bags, so the fact that we have textbooks on just one little tablet is it's a huge relief, and it just makes learning easier, and you get individual attention should you struggle with anything, so it just makes everything else easier.
Now, AfricaBot is a competition that allows young learners to construct desktop robots. These robots are available for viewing at the Technolab at the University of Johannesburg. Technolab has entered into a partnership with the South African Institute of Electrical Engineering for this. Now, joining us in the studio to tell us about AfroBot is Michael Etashang. He is the manager of the Robot Science Project at the University of Johannesburg. Hello, and thank you for being a part of our network, Michael.
Thank you very much, Sipho, for having us here. It's a great honor, and we're very excited about the opportunity to tell young South Africans and parents about the AfricaBot competition. This is a competition where you're going to build a little robot. I've got one over here. And you're going to build a robot like this with a microcontroller over here, and it's going to drive through a maze. And this is an interesting challenge because it really helps people develop engineering skills.
Can you just tell us about how the initiative actually started?
Look, this goes back a long way. When I returned to South Africa in the year 2000, I'd been in America for almost 2 years, and I was working for a software company there. And when I returned to South Africa, I ended up working for an educational software company here. Unfortunately, we were shut down because we were losing money. But you know, even at that stage, we were putting videos online and we were doing education across the internet, but things didn't really work out. Anyway, to cut a very long story short, I ended up importing a little robot from America with a microcontroller on it, and I realized that it was just so fabulous. So effectively, I reverse engineered it, and I spent many, many years trying to make it more affordable. And then fortunately, this project got adopted by the University of Johannesburg Techno Lab, and now we have an AfricaBot competition.
Okay, the AfricaBot competition. You are looking for kids from where exactly? Are kids from the townships included in this?
Look, the mission of the University of Johannesburg Techno Lab is to prepare a pipeline of high-quality first-year engineering students. And obviously, as a university, we need to make sure that our students are diverse and come from all backgrounds, advantaged, disadvantaged. So one of the things of the AfricaBot is I had watched a movie called Spare Parts, where some Hispanic kids who are not part of mainstream America, they took on some of the big universities there and with a low-cost robot, and I realized that we could do a very similar thing, if not better, right here in South Africa with this robot that I'd been working on for many, many years to reduce the cost.
You do have tutoring programs where you help kids. Can you just tell us about those tutoring programs?
Sure. Now, on a Saturday morning, I'm at the University of Johannesburg Techno Lab, and I've got underprivileged kids coming there from as far away as the other side of Soweto, the near side of Soweto, also from inner city areas like Brixton. On a Friday afternoon, I can be found at Diepsloot at a high school there called Zenzele Eterele, and we're going to spend a year with those young people. Typically, we're working with grade 8s and 9s, a few 10s, a few grade 11s. Grade 12s typically are studying hard for their exams so they can get a university entrance. The one thing that we do need, because there's kind of one of me and many, many teenagers who could benefit from this, so we are looking to partner with companies who hire engineers who maybe have junior engineers on their staff. An example of this is Denel, DLS, which is Denel Land Systems. Basically, they've been sending some of their junior engineers through to the Techno Lab where they are being trained as trainers. So by training trainers, we can extend the footprint of this. So my feeling is, you know, if you're a university lecturer or an engineer, somebody wherever you are, you could be in Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, Durban, KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo, you need to contact us at the Techno Lab at the University of Johannesburg, because we are not holding on to this thing. We want to share it.
So then go there, train them, so they can find local schools and train kids in the local schools?
Look, obviously we're on limited budgets, so the amount of travelling I can do is a little bit limited, but we welcome people to come to us. What you've also got to realise is there are 300 videos online on the internet with almost everything that I know has been put into those videos, and those videos are there. You can watch them, you can download them, you can put them on a micro SD card, you can put them in your smartphone, and when you put them in your smartphone becomes really smart because it now becomes a true educational tool. So, you know, we are wanting to partner with other universities, and we'd love to see this going national.
Now, robots competitions are really, really expensive, Michael. How have you made this one affordable, or have you made it affordable? Because it's one thing to train these kids to make their own robots, but they probably can't enter robots competitions.
Look, this is the world's, AfricaBot is the world's most affordable robotics competition, but unfortunately it's not entirely free. There are costs that arise. The little printed circuit board, I've got the circuit board over here. So if you look at this circuit board, I don't know if you want to have a look at that. So the circuit board itself is 55 rands, which I don't think is very expensive. It's about the cost of a McDonald's hamburger.
How have you managed that?
Well, we were helped by our supplier partner to the university called Mantech. They do have a website. You can get these parts directly from them. And they basically footed the bill for the development of what we call the rapid prototyping circuit board. Then you need a few parts to put on the board. The microchip itself is 200 Rand and a handful of other parts. We are trying to get into a situation which obviously is challenging our creativity, where you can make this robot for around about 1,000 Rand. We're not quite there yet, but we still believe that this is the world's most affordable robotics competition, and it's a real robotics competition.
All right, finally, the details. How does it work? When will the finals be?
Okay, the finals are going to be held in October of 2016. So folks have about a year to prepare, if you include the holidays, but we don't believe in holidays. So if folks acquire the parts, the software is all free. You just download it off the internet. So folks can do a Google search, find our website, email me, and I will give as much support as I possibly can within obviously the constraints of my own job description.
Michael Itashang, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Michael Itashang is with the University of Johannesburg there. Let's take a short break. You can find us on News Network at sabc.co.za and email it's newsnetwork@sabc.co.za. See you after the break. Find us on social media. We are on SABC Network across all platforms over there. Let's see what some people have been sharing in social media now. Major chatting point on Twitter came at the announcement that Deputy Minister in the Presidency, Obed Babela, said the ANC wants South Africa to leave the International Criminal Court. This was said at a press conference at the ruling party's National General Council. Protea cricketer Kagiso Rabada was once again trending today. This is after spectacular bowling that saw the Proteas make a massive comeback to beat India as they scored 303 for 5. The Mangaung Cultural Festival, or Makufe, has been a chatting point too. Many seem to think a huge number of those there will be making bank loans to make it to the end of the month, after loads of cash would have been spent in Bloemfontein. And that's all we have for you. Remember to find us on SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's newsnetwork@sabc.co.za and email. We leave you with visuals from Rage 2015. From me and the rest of the network team, have a good one.